r/ask Reddit. Which double standard irritates you the most? Someone being able to poke fun at you but then can't handle it when they're the one being poked fun at back. I don't trust people like that. I don't trust people. My wife complains when I spend time playing video games, but has no problem with me spending the same amount of time watching TV. She's on Facebook on her phone the whole time either way. So what does it matter? Same for my parents. Makes no sense. Oh yeah, and they're the ones who blame me because I don't talk to them whenever I try to talk, they just stare into their phone screens. You looked at for a map. Start work at 8 o'clock. Leave at 4:30, get beached at 4, knocking off early, rock up at 10 o'clock. Leave at 5:30, and aren't you great for always working late? I've always fantasized about being able to just choose my start and end times as long as the work was done. But every job I've had micromanages those things. Curly fry in my regular fries equals awesome. Regular fry in my curly fries equals gross. I get very excited about both scenarios. Word, I'm all about fry diversity. Woman taking care of her children without her partner equals nothing special. Man taking care of his children without his partner equals babysitting. A man taking care of his own children is doing nothing more special, heroic, or out his range of normal skills and duties than a woman. You don't babysit your own children. Hamrus Wiggs. Where are the kids? Wiggs has them, or you got him to babysit? No. He's their dad. So they are just with him. Like they are with me sometimes every effing time. Me spending $20 on video games is stupid and wasteful. Other hobbies are perfectly fine. Take up knitting. You spent how much on? Insert item here. Well, yes I did. The way I frame it now is cost per hour. Yes, I spent $50 on an ergonomic crochet hook. This hook will probably outlive me. I crochet an average of X hours per week, so even at 10 cents per hour I'll have got my value for money. I figure with the amount of time I spend on any given game, it's usually worth it. For example, I got Fire Emblem Fates all 3 paths for probably around $100 total and have put 500 hours into it. I'm happy with the amount I spent versus the playtime I got, even if it is a lot of money. I watch a lot of football soccer. A player will dive and all that team's fans say it's a stonewall penalty. Then when a player on the other team does exactly the same thing, they are a filthy cheat who should be banned. Obviously I have my favorite team and I want them to win, but I'm not blind. Yeah, I'm a United fan. And I've seen all of us yell as soon as Hazard or Coutinho take a tumble that they are a disgrace to football. Yet turned a blind eye for Rashford versus Swansea. Probably some pro-English bias in there as well. In America, an 18-year-old is old enough to get shipped off to a foreign land with a gun and overthrow the government, but you are not mature enough to buy a beer until you're 21. I actually think the age of the military should be raised. They don't allow 18-year-olds to drink because of whatever brain development issues you want to go off of. But if that's the case, then 18-year-olds obviously aren't mentally prepared and developed enough to fight a war and risk the traumatic events and lifelong stress that could come with it. They tried this in the military. Old enough to fight, old enough to drink was a mantra for a long time. Thus, you could drink at 18 on base for a while after they raised the age everywhere else. This went away as soon as it became unfashionable to drink and drive or main locals in bar fights. If you're going to hold Colonel Hogan responsible for PFC Schmuckatelli's drunken dumbassery, the drinking age is going to go up very quickly. Woman. Here are things about you I don't like. You need to change. Man. Okay, here are some things you should change. Woman. If you can't accept me for who I am, then maybe we shouldn't be together. This is my wife. You should change. Get a divorce and find a better wife. We're actually in the process at the moment. She's a good person, but it's just not working. That it's okay to tear yourself down and express negative sentiments about yourself to other people. But if you express genuine pride in your accomplishments, you are often viewed as a braggart. It does get kind of weird when people make too many self-depreciating comments. It comes off as cringy and awkward. Yeah, I actually really like when people talk about things they have achieved in an honest way. Meanwhile, I have a few friends who constantly talk on social media and in person about how incredibly shit they are. It makes me cringe that they try so hard to be awkward. calling a woman fat is considered verbal abuse, but making fun of a guy's height, which he cannot change, is a-okay. On the same vein, calling someone fat is wrong, but telling skinny people they look like a cancer patient every time they take off their shirt is okay. Haha, it's only a joke. I wish I was that skinny. The majority of the world does not think it's okay to tell a skinny person they look like a cancer patient. That's absurd. You wouldn't believe the amount of people who consider it's okay to comment on how a skinny person looks, regardless of the level of acquaintance. I've had people who I had just met give me this sort of comment. I'm not saying I'm emotionally scarred forever or anything, but honestly it undermines your confidence because it's something you get all the time. Search my bag as I leave the store? How about all the older people than myself that you let stroll on by without bag checking? At my workplace, the only people I've ever seen shoplift or attempt to shoplift are those over 50. Is that a thing? I remember once I got accused of stealing a ducking $1 bottle of almond milk while wearing a business suit and a bag full of school stuff. And no, it was not the automatic barcode detector. The shop assistant just felt like she saw me stealing it. She was really rude and told me to empty that bag right now. I told her to either get a permit to search my bag, a video recording of me stealing it, or that she can go duck herself. Well, guess what she picked? As someone who's underweight and has a hard time gaining weight, nothing pisses me off like how people feel it's okay to make fun of my weight, body proportions, etc. But God forbid the same was done for someone overweight. I totally agree. I'm tall and very lean and have been mocked and had my masculinity questioned by other adults because of it. The funny thing is that nobody gave me shit for it growing up. But now I'm in my 30s and people act like children, giving me shit for my body directly to my face. I even had a drunk lady call the cops on me one time for stolen valor because she thought I was too skinny to be a Marine, in front of other Marines from my unit, no less. I don't ducking get it. She called the cops on you because she didn't think you were a Marine? That's not even a crime, much less one worth calling the cops about. Stolen valor is when you're in public with military uniforms pretending to be a soldier when you're not. I think it's illegal to some degree, but I don't live in the US, so don't take my word on it. Stereotypes are bad. Everyone from the South are a bunch of hillbilly racist KKK Nazis. Ugh. These are the worst. The one I hate the most is only a Sith deals in absolutes. Stop trying to pigeonhole an entire people. Penalties for criminal acts. A first-time embezzler will get maybe 2 years in prison if they stole upwards of 6 figures. A first-time low-level drug dealer will get at least that much and likely a whole lot more, followed by extensive probation. The reality is that a person embezzling from a retirement pool probably does much more significant harm to a greater number of people than a person slinging dope to a dozen or so customers. Oh god. In my hometown, we have a couple of prominent families. Like all small towns, I imagine. One member of one of these families was an estate lawyer who embezzled the duck out of several elderly people in our community. He was eventually caught, prosecuted and sent to prison. His family did not have to repay any of the money he stole because of his family connections. He spent only 2 years in prison and then was quietly released. He got a high-paying job with a company car almost immediately upon his release. There is a serious issue with how crime is dealt with here in North America. In our city, if it's a funeral for a municipal official, streets are closed to allow for the convenience of the family in the procession, even if it's a small funeral, whereas ordinary citizens, no matter how much they contributed to the life of the community over their lifetimes, don't receive the special privileges and convenience paid to city employees. This made me so angry I was tempted to downvote, but it's not your fault. My father is always yelling at us. Don't worry, I'm 17 and almost out of here. But when I, or really anyone, tries to talk to him, he gets angry and accuses me of having an attitude. I get that I need to stay calm and all, and I do. But for real, am I really the one with an attitude here? Women are encouraged to express emotion, and people will come running to their aid if in distress. Men are not encouraged to do so as it is seen as weakness. Guys in distress, you will not see men running to help. Don't even get me started on childcare, as a woman alone with a small child is seen as normal. Guy alone with small child, he may be a kidnapper. While I pretty much agree with what you're saying, I would point out that women are not encouraged to express emotion in all situations. If a woman raises her voice in a business meeting, she's a bitch who can't control herself. When a man does it, he's just passionate. As an attorney, I see this happen all the time. If opposing counsel is a man, he can shout and argue on behalf of his client and it's normal if I respond the same way, because that's their only way to get my arguments heard. I get told to calm down or compose myself. I've developed some tricks to overcome this problem, but it's still ducking annoying. If a woman has sex with a lot of men, she's a slut, but if I do it, I'm a homosexual. You probably forgot to say no homo. Busting your ass at a job, but always overlooked for promotions because you're not good at politics, being besties with management, or kissing ass. Or busting your ass at a job that has you on your feet for hours but wanting to sit for 10 minutes to give your feet a break means you're lazy. I used to bartend at a country club pool where all the waiters and waitresses were members' kids. They would routinely spend shifts on their phones or sitting down. Bartenders were all hired with experience from the service industry because they weren't naive to the laziness of members' kids and they needed someone accountable managing the liquor. One day when there were like 4 people at the pool and it was 100 degrees, I went inside and sat down, with the line of sight to the booze, and the boss man came and asked me why I was inside. Stone-faced, I looked at him and said, "Oh, so mandated heat break," and he just left. I was pissed because the 4 servers were at a table 20 feet away and he didn't say shit to them. If you're bad towards your parents, you're a brat. If your parents are bad towards you, you're an ungrateful brat. That's a thing I never got. I understand that raising a child is piles and piles of work, but a parent can't continue to laud the fact that they feed you and provide you a home until you're 18. Those are things that everybody knows you have to sign on for when you have a kid, and something that the parents chose to do. It's like getting a dog and getting angry at it for barking even though you feed it when you were the one who agreed to feed it daily by getting the damn thing. That girls want to be treated equal to men but still think they can't hit a guy all they want but freeze up and are just shocked that a guy would hit a girl back. BTW, I myself am a chick. I loved Whoopi Goldberg's losing her shit on the other women on The View about this. Basically they are talking about a case where a woman hit her husband, NFL star I think, first, and he hit her back and messed her up good. They kept saying a man should never hit a woman, and Whoopi went off saying no one should hit anyone. But whether you're a man or a woman, you cannot hit someone and not expect them to hit you back. And goes on saying that it's frankly dangerous to teach girls boys will never hit them, both for potentially abused men and women having men react to the woman's violence with violence in kind. I'm not a big guy. There are plenty of women who could mess me up in a fight. Even a small woman beating on me could easily have a weapon and kill me. Women are just as capable of violence as men. As a man, I'm worried about looking at or talking to other people's kids in fear of being labeled a pedo. Can't imagine women have the same issues. I have short hair and sometimes I look pretty masculine. If I ever speak to an unknown child or help them while they're lost, I always get these looks and shit. Trying figure out if the person should think it's okay I'm a girl, or if they need to worry because I'm a guy that is preying on this lost child who can't find their way around a huge ducking department store. It's so irritating because a man can't act paternal to a child who isn't theirs, but a woman can act mothering to a kid that isn't theirs. When my manager earns £25,000 a year for literally sitting on her ass in a comfy spinny chair stapling shit, not granting holiday forms and writing rotas whilst I deliver 700 kilograms of shopping in a van over 150 miles with no radio or AC for £7.50 an hour and can't get a holiday unless I book it 2 months in advance. I could live with it, but we're super short staffed so we all have to do extra. She saved the company some money at the expense of our sanity and got a £5,000 bonus at Christmas. I got £150. UK supermarket. Girls can abuse guys and nobody will bat an eye. Reverse the roles and the guy is suddenly the spawn of Satan. I think abuse is awful, no matter who is doing it. But in this day and age where men and women should be equal, to see women get a pass is stupid. I always hated back in high school how doing the right thing, Being responsible and generally following the rules meant you would be reprimanded when you broke the rules. But a kid that always broke the rules would be praised the one time they actually did something right. Like, positive reinforcement is good and all, but the kids doing what they're supposed to all the time deserve the praise more than the kid who barely follows the rules. Child custody. A kid who isn't a kid anymore. I used to babysit had a baby girl a few years ago. The mother took that child out of state with her. No word to him about it. He had to fight just to be able to see her, and he would have lost if his mother wasn't living with him and able to give the whole female vibe. It's disgusting. He is an amazing dad. Most girls are okay with being in a relationship where the guy is more financially or academically or whatever successful, but most guys are uncomfortable and intimidated if the tables are turned. Sugar mamas PM me. When it's normal that women think babies and puppies and kittens are cute and want to hold them or talk to them, but some dudes think when another guy is like that it makes him gay or a pedo or something. Whoa, you made it to the end? You're a ducking beast. I'll cut you a deal. Smash like and subscribe for more curated content, bruh. It's free and that's a great price.